we had done till planning, initiation and planning. We have discussed 15 tasks. So remaining tasks, uh, we are moving on to the execution first. In execution, we have got 9 tasks, and in a sequence of program lifecycle, this is the 16th task. So during execution, you are going to actually charter and initiate the constituent projects. Previously, we developed a charter for the program, and that was done by the program manager. By the program manager was assisting in development of that, and whomsoever was the program sponsor, he actually was responsible for developing it. Now, the program manager is developing the charter, is writing the charter for the constituent projects. So he has decided which projects have to be included in the program, and those those projects, their charter is being prepared. So charter and initiate constituent projects by assigning project managers and allocating appropriate resources in order to achieve program objectives. So program manager is looking at it from the program perspective. So naturally, he must have gone through some kind of feasibility. He must have created his own business case for whatever kind of projects are to be initiated. And therefore, he created a charter, initiated those projects, and assigned a project manager for each one of them, and allocated him the resources and gave him the program objectives to align with. So that was the portion the program manager was responsible for. Now the project manager will plan his project, and he will align himself with the program. So again, as we said, there were about 2 questions each coming out of this thing. Out of the 9 tasks we are having, no, there are not only 2 questions per task, there are going to be 3 questions per task almost. So how to charter the constituent project, and how to, select the project manager for project objectives, alignment with the program, and all that. These could be some of the areas in which you could be tested here. In task 17, you establish consistency by deploying uniform standards, resources, infrastructure, tools, and processes in order to enable informed program decision making. Now, how do you do that? When we were doing project management, we had some project management system in place from the organizational side. Maybe there was a PMO. PMO might have developed a project management system, and that system and the program organizational governance, whatever was there, was instrumental in developing the project governance. I'm talking about project management. And based on those policies, general policies, project management plan was developed. So now this project is specifically under the program, and therefore the program governance, which is actually used for the development of the program management plan, would give guideline for project governance. So each project, so there could be one project governance structure for all the projects within this program, and all the project managers would have to abide by it and develop their project management plans accordingly. So this is a set of general policies which have to be followed, and that is in alignment with the program strategy. So he will establish this kind of consistency, as if all the projects are on the same standards. They have understanding of the resources they are going to be using, the uniformity in resources, infrastructure, tools, and processes they are allowed to use. So this is basically a part of the governance. Task number 18, establish a communication feedback process in order to capture lessons learned and the team's experience throughout the program. So what is the mechanism of getting the feedback from the project managers, how the lessons learned from the experiences of the projects are to be recorded, not only in the project archive, but for a higher purpose at the program level. What are the lessons we are learning out of the projects and the work of the program we are doing, and naturally from the experiences of the team involved in the program throughout the life of the program. Task number 19: lead human resource functions by training, coaching, mentoring, and recognizing the team in order to improve team engagement and achieve commitment to the program's goal. Uh, all the staff of the program, they have to be aligned with the organizational or for that matter program's objectives, and therefore they must have the requisite training and coaching and mentoring, and all the time these people have to be thinking as to fulfill the program strategy, and therefore they must be trained for that, they must be guided for that. And basically the role of program manager here is specifically of a coach or a mentor. So this is done in order to improve their team engagement and achieve commitment to the program goals. And not only that, but you see, when I talk about improving the team engagement, that is the commitment we are gaining from them. The interest and motivation we are developing in the team, and that is going to be instrumental in achieving the program goals. Task number 20: review the project manager's performance in executing the project in accordance with the project plan in order to maximize their contribution to achieving program goals. Naturally, we do not want to interfere in the work of the project managers, but there must have been some mechanism by which we would be able to understand how well the project manager is performing. So we have to review their performance, and we do not and cannot rely only on the reports being submitted by the project manager. And as I said before, we do have some kind of key performance indicators, and those key performance indicators uh, tell us how well the project manager is performing, not only based on his reports being sent to us, but KPI is can be collected by other sources, by mere observation, by having a consultant looking at the project, or by any other means. Those are the confirmations whether the project manager's reports are being seconded or not. So this project manager's performance while he is executing his project, and what are we trying to check is, first of all, the objective is efficiency, maximizing their contribution. Are they being only effective? Are they being efficient also? So we have a special concern about being more efficient, because it is a matter of the whole program, and we do not want to have leakages in the program, and we don't want to waste resources. So we have to be extra cautious about it. So efficiencies are important to us, and also we are also going to ensure that everything which is happening in the program through projects or whatever, this all is aligned with the program goals, program objectives, and is they are achieving, ultimately contributing towards the achievement of the program goals. Task 21 is to execute the appropriate program management plans. For example, quality, risk, communication, and resourcing. These are the four areas which I mentioned earlier. These are like the knowledge areas we used to study in project management, but in here in program management, we do not have so many knowledge areas. We, in addition to what we are doing in program, we have to have special care about quality, risk, communication, and resourcing. So, using the tools identified in the planning phases, and by auditing the results in order to ensure the program outcomes meet stakeholder expectations and standards. So we will be talking more about these quality, risk, communication, and resourcing later. Next is task number 22: consolidate project and program data using predefined program plan, reporting tools and methods in order to monitor and control the program performance and communicate to stakeholders. So first we were worried about the project, initiating the project, monitoring the project and all that. Now, whatever are the results coming from the project and the results being produced in the program, all this data have to be unified using predefined program plan reporting tools and methods in order to monitor and control the program performance and communicate it to the stakeholders. Now we are consolidating the program performance and we are sharing it with the relevant stakeholders. That is, uh, the program performance is being built up and it is being shared with the stakeholders. Task 23, evaluate the program status in order to monitor and control the program while maintaining current program information. So I think the tasks we have here in execution are much simpler than the earlier tasks we had in strategy and initiation. Maybe because the things we have understood lot many things, and that's why these tasks are becoming more easier to understand. Or maybe this is more like what we had been doing in project management. Task number 24 here is approve the closure of constituent project. As soon as a project is about has completed its assignment and it has delivered what it had to deliver, then we approve the closure of that project upon its completion of predefined uh, deliverables in order to ensure scope is compliant with the functional overview. Now, the project will close down, but the product of the project will now start yielding the benefits. By this, I do not mean that benefits only can be realized after the project has finished. There are certain benefits which could have started realizing while the project was going on, but all the benefits of the project will not be complete by the end of the project. When the project is being closed, the benefits will not have realized all of them. So these benefits will be taken over by the program for all these projects, and then program will be responsible for getting those benefits realized. Not only the individual benefits of the projects are being realized, but they are uh, going to be consolidated as if they add up to form the program benefit, and this program benefit will ultimately be contributing towards the program's objectives. Execution is okay. Yes, Julian.
Yes.
Yes.
I think it's pretty simple. It's not that very difficult. As far as controlling of the program is concerned, we have 6 tasks here, almost 10% of the total number of questions. 17 questions we'll be having from this controlling alone. Uh, Task number 25 is analyze the variance and trends in cost, schedule, quality, risk by comparing actual and forecast to planned values in order to identify corrective actions or opportunities. Probably there is nothing new. We understand as project managers that how do we do the variance analysis, how do we do the trend analysis. But the only thing special here is that we are concerned about cost, schedule, quality, risk. These are the areas where the variances are more important to us. So we'll be comparing actuals against what was planned, and we will forecast to the planned values in order to identify any corrective actions or opportunities. So this is the first step in the controlling of the program. Task 26, update the program plans by incorporating corrective actions to ensure program resources are employed effectively in order to meet program objectives. One thing I must clarify here, that the projects are being managed by the project managers, and within the projects, if there is any change request, that would be moved up to the program manager, and program manager will be approving or rejecting whatever those change requests. But what about a change request which happens in program? That may be due to escalation of a problem from the project, or it could have been created from the program itself. If there is a change request in program, then the program management plan and the relevant documents needs to be changed. And therefore, This would go into a change request procedure of the program itself, and then who is going to decide for it? The program manager or the program board would be actually taking decision on the approval of that change request. So this point says update program plans by incorporating those corrective actions, whatever at the program level or the project level, whatever. If it is on the project level, program manager will decide. If it is on the program level, then the change request will move up and we will seek for the approval. To ensure program resources are employed effectively in order to meet program objectives. So here we are concerned about effectiveness, not efficiency. Efficiency we have already talked about, but here we are just ensuring that everything which had to be done has been done or is being done as per the plan. So this is the effectiveness. But when we talk about efficiency, we say with the optimized within the optimized framework. Task 27, manage program level issues. For example, human resource management, financial technology, and scheduling. We have discussed that earlier about program manager is more concerned about finances rather than costs. He is more concerned about the overall uh, management of the technology resources and all that. So how do we do that? These kind of issues which are at the program level, by identifying and selecting a course of action consistent with the program scope, constraints, and objectives in order to achieve program benefits. Our target is to achieve those program benefits. We have to realize those program benefits, which are unified benefits, synergetically unified benefits in which have been gathered together from all the projects. The project benefit realization have summed up into the program benefits synergetically. So now we are talking about the program benefits. Therefore, we are trying to have a course of action as if we can consistently, we can be consistent with the scope of the program. And considering while we are being consistent with the scope of the program, we are considering whichever are the constraints we had and the objectives of our program. Task 28, manage changes in accordance with the change management plan. That is exactly what I was talking about, change request. So we have a change management plan of our own in program management, and that change management plan concerns bringing changes to the program management plan and the relevant documents. Therefore, this change request or this change management procedure is not to be decided by the program manager. The program manager is going to request this change, and that is going to go to the program board, program change board, change control board. In order to control the scope, quality, schedule, cost, tag, contracts, risks, and rewards regarding program. So please take a note that here we are not talking about the changes in project, the change management in the project, because they are being handled by the program. Program manager is the authority to approve any change request for the constituent projects. But if there is a change in the program, then it has to go through the proper channel. Task 29, conduct impact assessment for program changes and recommend decisions in order to obtain approval in accordance with the governance model. So if we have a change request for the program, then it has to be supported by, because we are dealing with program, no more a project. So a simple cost benefit analysis will not do. Here we need to see the impact assessment, because program being such a large volume would be impacting the environment, the system around it, and therefore a proper impact assessment has to be carried out. While these changes, if brought into the program, what are going to be the impacts on the organization, on the strategy, on the environment, on whatever. And he will recommend the decisions which could be taken in order to obtain approval. But the approving authority is not the program manager himself. Therefore, he's suggesting through his recommendations what steps could be taken in accordance with the governance model. 30th task is manage risk in accordance with the risk management plan in order to ensure benefit realization. So risk management plan remains almost the same as it was in the project management, except for the fact that now we are dealing with program, and we have to raise our level a bit high to the level of the benefit realization. We are not only talking about the product of a project, we are talking about the benefit realization in a program. So these risks would be about the whether the benefit would be realized or not, and what are the risks in the benefit realization, in the consolidation of the benefits, in the uh, subsequent interaction amongst the projects. So all the matters relating to the program, these are the risks regarding that. So this completes our six tasks of controlling. And before we can move on to closing, if you have any comments so far.
No.
Okay,
No.
right. It seems things are getting simpler because of the traditional initiation planning, etc. So these things we already understand. It is easy to grasp. In closing, we have got 5 tasks here. Task 31 is complete a program performance analysis report by comparing final values to planned values for scope, quality, cost, schedule, and resource data in order to determine program performance. Well, if it was a project, then we would have been going for all the 10 knowledge areas. Here, we are concerned about the scope, time, cost, quality, and resources. They all are associated in the sense that scope, time, and cost are the uh, objectives. Quality is also considered as an objective, and resource, time, and cost are 3 things which are to be estimated. So even at program level, we have resource, time, and cost be estimated, and therefore the performance would be measured specifically on these 5 items in order to determine the program performance. Task 32: obtain stakeholder approval for program closure in order to initiate closeout activities. So we have already kept the stakeholder in the loop in all our decisions. In when we were getting the performance analysis, we were having stakeholder on board. So stakeholder knows everything. So we have the buy-in. So now we are getting back to the stakeholder, and we are trying to initiate the closeout activities as if the program can be closed. Task 33: execute the transition and our closeout of all program and constituent project plans. For example, perform administrative and PMIS program closure, archive program documents and lessons learned, and transfer ongoing activities to functional organization in order to meet program objectives and our ongoing operational sustainability. Now, what is transition? We did not talk much about transition when we were studying project management in for PMP. We did understand that once the project will be done, the system, the deliverable will have to transition to the execution. And we sometimes did talk a little about how it is going to be transitioned, but that was not the focus of the project, how it transitions. But here, all the projects within the program are the responsibility of the program, because program manager is taking on the responsibility of not only of the benefit realization but also of transitioning these benefits to the operations. So not only the project benefits, but the whole program, unified program benefits, are to be transitioned ultimately to the operation. And this transitioning could be a continuous activity. As soon as the first project has delivered, maybe the transition has started from there, and transition goes on until the program is about to close. So transitioning must finish. It must have been properly taken over by the operations. It must have been, the system must have been properly set up. The benefits must be properly being realized, and somebody the should have taken over the whole system. So here we are executing this transition and this tantamounts to the closeout of all program and constituent project. So after we have transitioned the results or benefits to the operations, there is nothing to do for program. Program has fulfilled all its objectives. Program has realized all the benefits which have been assigned to it. Maybe it took 20 years, but program has nothing more to do. So that is how the transition is complete and program is ready to close. Task 34, conduct the post-review meeting by presenting the program performance report in order to obtain feedback and capture lessons learned. So this is our last activity where we just do the post-mortem of whatever we have done. So we review in this meeting and we obtain as much feedback from the stakeholders and others and capture as many lessons as possible for submitting into the organizational process assets as if future programs can benefit from these lessons. So this is our task 34, and in 35 we report these lessons learned and best practices observed and archived to the knowledge repository. What we used to call organizational process asset is now being called knowledge repository in order to support future programs and organizational improvements. In a way, task 34 and 35 are almost similar. In 34, we are capturing the lessons learned, and in 35, we are submitting those lessons learned into the knowledge repository. So these are the 5 tasks for closing. In addition to these 35 tasks of program life cycle, we have 27 different skills which program manager should have. Some of these skills might overlap or might be similar as they were in the strategy, and some of them may be similar to the future uh, you know domains. But here these 27 tools or knowledge and skills are to be taken into account for the program lifecycle. I hope we understand benchmarking. We have already studied in PMP what benchmarking is. Benchmarking, I just want to make one thing clear. Benchmarking does not mean that you are comparing yourself against a standard. I usually listen to it. People say that benchmarking is you set up a standard and then compare yourself with that. No, it is not a standard. Benchmarking is comparing yourself against your competitors. No matter this competitor is internal or external. If your competitors are in the market and you are benchmarking yourself against them, then probably you are trying to find the gap and you are trying to then identify those areas in which you need to develop and you need to beat them. If it is within the organization, then you can even do the benchmarking with your sister organizations or your sister departments or whatever. Closeout plans, procedures, techniques, and policies. So naturally, this must be coming from the governance. Decomposition techniques, because we are creating a program work breakdown structure here. So we must understand how to decompose the program activities. Program activities would give rise to subsequently will be further broken down to the the project activities, and that then would be the responsibility of the project manager to break them down further. For all practical purposes, as I said, program manager is responsible for identifying all the program related activities, and he can go as deep as the phases of every project. He can suggest the phases to the project manager, but no deeper than that. He must leave it on project manager to do all further breakdowns. And this is just suggestion. If at all program manager is satisfied that if he has divided the work into projects, and he may leave it out, even the phases he can leave out for the project manager to decide. But maximum you can go down in your WBS is projects and their phases, nothing more than that. Financial closure processes, you must know. Logistics management. Nowadays, we talk about, a lot about supply chain management. A little knowledge about logistics and supply chain would take you long. Performance and quality metrics, phase gate reviews. I hope you must be aware about the phase gates. Can I ask you, what do you understand by phase gate reviews? Yes, Suhail.
It's like your milestones. You set up your phase gates and you have an exit point. If you have achieved a certain result or a status,
Hmm.
then you move forward to the next phase.
Okay, wonderful. And what about you, Julian? What are your views about phase gate reviews?
Yeah, sorry, I was mute. Yeah, phase gate reviews. I've actually haven't done any of those yet.
Hmm. Okay, from the project management perspective, do you have any understanding of what is a phase gate?
I don't recall that. I recall
Okay,
that from PMP, but I don't
yeah,
remember.
no problem, no problem. You see, you have divided your project into a number of phases, right?
Mm,
When you complete one phase and there is a closure of that phase and there is a deliverable coming out of it, that is the point of review. There you stop and you look back and see how well have you performed, and you seek approval of your sponsor, who will allow you to move ahead. This is a phase gate review. At the end of a phase, there is the gate where you stop, and that gate will only be opened by your sponsor if he allows that your job is all right and you have your closure has been accepted. The gate will open and you will be moving on to the next phase. So this is also called go no go decision. And especially in UK, they have got gateway review system in their Office of Government Commerce. There's a very famous gateway review system, and that is a government entity. It is mandated by the government of UK that every project must have a gateway review, and there for that they have certified professionals who are consultants who are certified consultants for doing the gateway reviews, and for especially for programs, the certain gateways are standard gateways are defined, and those guys are trained and certified in assessing them. So these phase gate reviews would be these consultants would be checking them and submitting their results to the government, and government will give the go no go decision whether the program can proceed ahead or not. Exactly the same concept is going to be re-emphasized in the program. This concept is a little higher than what we studied and what we understand in project management. This is because the phases of a project could be very different from other projects. One project may have three phases, another could have five phases, and those phases are designed according to the work of the project. But as far as the programs are concerned, we do not have that specific facility to understand the technology of the project. Every project could have a different technology, but the program is more generic in nature. Therefore, the phases of the project, as you have just studied, like they could be initiate and this and that till closing. So these would redefine where the phase gate for a program comes in, and that go no go decision has to be taken to pass you from one phase to the other. Accomplishment of first phase is mandatory.
Uh, Directs and Roman characters and braces.
This is for this specific item. Phase gate review appears at five other places, but these are the common tools with some other uh, domains.
And what are the numerics and braces?
These are the references where they are linked. The 5 means the aresthetic means that this is the same tool is being used by fifth domain. 3 means it is duplicately used in third domain.
No, but Suhail, the closeout plans, procedures, techniques, and policies has a numeric 5, and the rest of them have Romans.
Okay,
So what's the difference?
I don't think this means anything, but I can check it up. This must be the same 5. I don't think there is any mention of otherwise. You will see subsequently that there is another chart in which the common practices are listed. Maybe it is explained there. But I know aresthetic means that this is repeated somewhere else, and somewhere else is mentioned here. So we will look at it. What does it mean by having this 5? Is it a mistake or it means something? Right. So phase gate reviews. Then we have got procurement management. Naturally, we have to do a lot of procurement in programs. Programs we we are doing centralized procurement for the projects, as well as there is a lot of program work going on. We have people, especially you know, there is a program team which is in addition to the projects. So there is a lot of work going on within the program also. So all the procurement management at the centralized level of program is being handled here. Product service development phases, program and constituent project charter development, program charter and constituent project charters, their development, program and project change requests. I have explained them a bit. Program initiation plan, program management plans. Remember, management plans are based always on the relevant governance mechanism. So, program management plan will seek its guidance from the program governance framework. The project management plans always seek their guidance from the project governance mechanism. So, project governance is subordinate to the program governance, and program governance is subordinate to the portfolio or organizational governance mechanisms. Quality control and management tools and techniques, resource estimation, which includes living and non-living human and materials, resource leveling techniques. I hope resource leveling is again very well understood by you because this is a project management subject. Then root cause analysis, again, a very well-known tool for all of us. Scheduling management tools and techniques. Yes, they are the same schedule management tools, but if we are looking at it from the program perspective, then we have, as I said, we have to raise our level a bit. We are not going to be going into that much detail as we were going in the projects, but here we are more concerned only about organizing the program activities and the linkages with the projects. We are not going to interfere with the schedule of the project manager. Scope management, service level agreements, statistical analysis again is a very famous tool which we have been using in projects. Strategic planning and analysis, SWOT analysis, talent evaluation, team competency assessment and techniques, and training methodologies. All of these tools are to be understood by you. You see, I do agree that some of these tools you might not have ever used, right? Uh, that is okay. There is no problem with it. If you have not used it, you have at least to learn what is it and how it is used. As if when you are attempting the exam, you should be able to at least answer the questions. And naturally, you should try to learn the missing details. Should we start the benefit management?
Sure.
Yeah.
So in benefit management, we have 8 tasks. Now the things are getting easier. Easier from the sense that now we have got very few tasks left. Only 8 tasks in benefit management. which is 11% of the total exam, meaning 19 questions. First task is to develop a benefit realization plan. You remember we have also talked about a benefit management plan. What is the difference you think about benefit management plan and benefit realization plan? Give me some idea. Off the hook, doesn't matter you are right or wrong. I just want to see how much can you perceive. Benefit management plan and benefits realization plan. What could be the
Okay,
difference?
is it that on benefit management, you're basically what it says managing whatever the benefit outcome
Hmm?
of your program is happening, and the realization sounds to me like it's more on the sort of like the discovery phase of it. Is that correct?
Discovery phase. Okay. Okay. We'll talk about it. Faryal?
Basically, when I chalk out the realization plan, it kind of tells us that what steps or activities I must do for achieving the benefits or the planned benefits. It gives me the timelines and the tools
Right.
that I must engage that
Hmm.
the benefits are fully realized
Okay.
over the span of time.
Hmm.
So kind of gives you a broad stroke roadmap for achieving the benefits.
Wonderful. Wonderful. That is exactly what the answer is. Uh, actually, if you look at it from the perspective of a project management, then I will give you a similar term there. We have a risk management plan and we have a risk response plan, right? You know they are different.
Yeah. Yes.
Risk management plan gives you the guideline as to how to plan the risk, how to identify the risk, how to qualify, quantify, and how to create the responses and how to implement them and monitor them. So whole story encapsulated into the management plan. But management plan does not know exactly what will be the risks. It only provides you the mechanism, the method to how to identify the risk, what tools to use, and things like that. So, as far as the risk management plan is concerned, that does not know what the risks will be, what would be the figures coming out of it, and what would be the responses coming out of it, but it gives you the mechanism. Actual the response, actual plan on what responses is to be taken up, then the net result of what actually will be done is the risk response plan. And that happens with every knowledge area. You see, scope, time, and cost. We had the scope management plan, schedule management plan, and cost management plan in, I'm talking about project management. And ultimately, we were having the baselines, scope baseline, schedule baseline, and cost baseline. These are the implementable forms. The baselines were the implementable forms which were to be executed in execution, right? But the management plans were just the guidelines. Now, keeping that in mind, the benefit management plan, which should have been created much earlier in the very beginning of the program, benefit management plan just provides you the general guideline how the benefits will be managed throughout the life of the project. What will be the procedures? What will be the policies? What would be the templates, uh, tools, and techniques which are allowed to be used in this program? Now is the time in task one benefit management that we are developing the actual benefit realization plan. And Faryal used the very right word. This is the roadmap. When it's kind of milestones. At this point, this benefit will be realized. At this point, this benefit will be realized. So this is kind of a roadmap or a timeline. So benefit realization plan will give us that. And not only that, but also its measurement criteria. What benefits are to be realized when, and how would you measure them in order to set the baseline for the program. The program baseline is the benefit realization plan. And then when it is created, it is to be communicated to the stakeholders, including sponsors, again for the purpose of seeking their buy-in. I hope you understand this point. Yes, Julian?
Got it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Second task is identify and capture synergies and efficiencies identified throughout the program lifecycle in order to update and communicate the benefit realization plan to stakeholders, including sponsors. Now, this is in continuation to the first task actually, but you are now trying to find the vehicles to carry your benefit management plan to the right places. And that vehicle is the efficiencies and the synergies. What synergies you have to create and what efficiencies you can gain to most efficiently get to the relevant stakeholders and convince them about your benefit realization plan and ultimately gain their support and ensure the efficient achievement of those benefits on the due dates. When I talk about synergies, let me give you an example. You have 4 projects in your program. Each project definitely does have a benefit realization of its own, but which is not part of the project itself. I mean, projects will deliver the product, service, or result, and the benefits will continue realizing even after the project has been closed down. So every project will realize some benefits at some stage, even after the project is closed down. And program manager, because program manager is the sponsor of all the projects, so he takes on the responsibility of realizing those benefits. But if it was not under a program, then whomsoever was a sponsor of this project would have been responsible for realizing that benefit. But if there were 4 separate projects, not under one program, their benefits would have been separate to each other, and there would not have been any unification, and no synergies are possible. When these projects are related through a program, their benefits are intertwined, they are consolidated, and they create such synergies that this is not a simple 1 and 1 2. This is something like 1 and 1 11. So this is how we increase the efficiencies and effectiveness of our benefit realization. Not only that, but we have to bring the stakeholders and sponsors on board by communicating to them these synergies and efficiencies. That was the point. Third task, develop a sustainment plan that identifies the processes, measures, metrics, and tools necessary for management of benefits beyond the completion of the program in order to ensure the continued realization of intended benefits. Now, just look at it. The projects which were under the program, program manager has taken on the responsibility of realizing the benefits of the projects, but the program benefits will be realized up to some extent till they are handed over by transitioning it to the operations. What will happen to those benefits after the program has been closed? There must You must give out a sustainment plan how to sustain these benefits. You see, if you give me a benefit, you give me a benefit, and I cannot continue gaining out of it, then probably I have not been properly briefed how to sustain these benefits. Maybe if I have a car, to run it efficiently, I have to maintain it. If I do not maintain it, if I have not been instructed how to maintain it, then probably the benefits are not going to be long lived. Therefore, when the program is handing over the benefits to the operations or whomsoever, there must be a sustainment plan provided, that is the maintenance of those benefits, how they can continue realizing those benefits and benefiting from them. This is task number 3. Task number 4 is monitor the metrics. For example, forecasting, analyzing variances, developing what-if scenarios, simulations, utilizing causal analysis in order to take corrective actions in the program and maintain and or potentially improve benefit realization. So, by monitoring these metrics, the monitoring and control of the program is basically responsible for having an eye on whatever is happening, doing a lot of analysis, and ultimately applying corrections to the benefit realization, to as if to improve the benefit realization, enhance the benefit realization, or for that matter, synergize it. So our monitoring will basically be looking at those metrics. Task number 5, as far as the management is concerned, verify that the close transition and integration of constituent projects and the program meet or exceed the benefit realization criteria in order to achieve program strategic objectives. But what we are not targeting at is we fall short of it. No, that will be a failure of the program if we fall short of the benefit realization, if we do not complete the roadmap. So we fall short of it, and that means we want to at least achieve the minimum target, or we want to exceed it a little more than that. So here there is nothing like gold plating. If we exceed the benefit realization, that is positive. But if we do not do it, if we do not achieve all the benefits, we do not realize all the benefits, then probably we have done something wrong. So benefit management will only be considered complete if all the benefits destined from this program have been achieved, have been realized. Task number 6, maintain a benefit register and record program progress in order to report the benefits to the stakeholders via the communication plan. So program has got its own communication plan to communicate with the stakeholders, and all the benefits are being recorded in a register, and the current status of each benefit is also recorded there, and that report is being shared with the stakeholders through our communication plan, and that is how we keep them abreast of what is happening and how and where we stand. Task number 7, analyze and update the benefit realization and sustainment plans for uncertainty, risk identification, risk mitigation, and risk opportunity in order to determine if corrective actions are necessary and communicate to stakeholders. So now we are trying to find the risks in the benefit realization and the sustainment plan. So just imagine the benefit realization is until the program finishes, and any benefits which will be continued after the program has finished, that is through a sustainment plan. So your responsibility is till the benefit realization while the program is running, and while you are handing over, you must hand over a sustainment plan to the operations as if they can continue taking advantage of those benefits. But the targets which had been given to you have achieved them in your benefit realization. And that was the point in task number 5, that you must achieve them or exceed them, but do not fall short of them. So all the benefits which have been identified to be realized by the program have been identified and a sustainment plan has been handed over. Now all the risks in benefit realization and the sustainment plans will be identified, mitigated, and risk opportunity in order to determine if corrective actions are necessary. So if at all any actions are to be taken, those actions would be taken maybe through a contingency or through a change request. But whatever is happening, this all stakeholders must be keep abreast. They must be communicated with for all the benefit realization and sustainment plans. Task number 8. Develop a transition plan to operations in order to guarantee sustainment of products and benefits delivered by the program. I think that is self-explanatory.
Suhail,
Yes.
on the top, you say benefits management 6. And what does that mean? And then you have
Uh,
8 tasks, 11% and 19%.
yeah, this I have written. This is there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 knowledge and tools here. So I just wrote a number for that. And here I wrote 5, which is wrong. This should be 6. So the 6 are the knowledge, 8 are the tasks, 11% are the number is the weightage, and 19 questions.
So, can I ask you one thing?
Yep.
We kind of like in my, I know there's a benefit realization plan, and then there's a benefits management plan.
Right.
What is the key differentiator between the two?
Okay. I would say wherever you read the word management plan, you must understand whatever area it is, whether it is project management or it is program management or portfolio management. A management plan is not a detail. Management plan does not include the details. It includes the policies, procedures, guidelines, or tools. This is how you plan doing things. But as such, there is no data available in a management plan. These are just instructions how to do the subsequent work. If it is a benefit management plan, it will tell you what are the benefits, how benefits are to be identified, how they are to be treated, what tools can be used. So, general guideline about the benefits, how the benefits will be managed on this program. As far as the realization plan is concerned, this is specific which benefits are to be realized by what time and whatever is required for them. So this is the
Yeah,
result of the application of benefit management plan. The benefit realization plan is the ultimate result or the baseline which is created working based on the benefit management plan.
okay. So basically, I think mostly what we have been doing
Hmm.
is we the template our PMO generates right at the kickoff
Hmm.
has an overall guidance structure, and then they have a template that we keep on populating for each phase gate.
Exactly.
So I think it's they're both combined in, because I was just trying to just remember or kind of go through what I've been doing in the last 2 3 programs.
Hmm.
And what we've been doing is that the broad stroke, what you're saying is the general policies, procedures, and tools are all in our project management plan.
Hmm.
And then there is a section in which we do the tracking of it,
Yeah.
individual tracking of each
Exactly.
benefit. So I think we have a combined project benefit and
Hmm.
benefits realization register combined in the same thing.
I would say benefit. Okay, there are many artifacts which come out of a benefit management plan. I mean, that could be created. One artifact is a benefit realization plan, which is a baseline. One artifact is any kind of template. One benefit is whatever you are saying, the monitoring mechanism or whatever. These are different artifacts. These may be called as program documents. But
Okay.
if you can somehow relate with it with project management has a very good concept built on that, especially the sixth edition that has a very good concept how management plans are created and they all are put into the project management plan, and how all the other details are created based on some template or whatever, and they are put into a project document archive. Exactly the same way. Here it is not as clearly mentioned, but the benefit register, the benefit realization plan, and all these things we are creating as a result of that management plan is ultimately our program documents. And these are what we will be using later on. Now, out of these several things, there are certain deductions, that certain final items. You see, let me take the example of project management scheduling. Uh, Schedule management plan tells me the way how to identify activities, how to sequence them, how to calculate their estimations, and how to develop a schedule and all that. So the general procedure has been told to me, and abiding by that procedure, I start creating these artifacts. And when all these artifacts are completed, the final version of that is my baseline. Exactly on the same parameter, we have a we first create a benefit management plan. You see, this is not a generic document. This is a specific document for this program. If it was a generic document, it would have been in the program management archive or lessons learned or whatever depository it is coming from. This is benefit management plan was specifically developed for this program. These are the specific instructions which have been created based on the governance advice, policies, and instructions. Keeping that at the back of our mind, we have created a benefit management plan. And this benefit management plan is telling me how to identify the benefits, how to realize the benefits, and so on and so forth. And then, following this benefit management plan, I am creating many artifacts. One artifact could be benefit register, benefit format, and things like that. So all these artifacts are being filled and filled and filled, and ultimately the net result of all of this story comes out, and that is the benefit realization plan. Benefit realization plan is my final baseline, which is implementable. I hope I made this clear to you. Right. Okay. Now talk about the six knowledge specific to this domain.
So just the final word. So basically, in the benefits management plan, we won't have the when part, like when it will be realized, or the timelines are also in
No,
both.
benefit management plan does not know when anything will be done. It only tells
It's
you
just
how.
the how part of it.
Yeah, it addresses only the how part. How to do this, how to do that. This is the benefit management plan. The baseline is the benefit uh, realization plan. Benefit realization plan will give you exact dates and everything.
Okay, so basically, if I wanted to have a big differentiator,
Hmm.
the management plan should have more details or general guidelines about a particular program's policies, procedures, and the tools to be deployed
Exactly.
to deliver the benefits of that particular program.
Right.
And when it comes to the benefits realization plan, it's a roadmap of when those benefits will be realized and how they will be measured eventually.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, so fine. Okay. I
So,
just wanted to clear it in my head
okay.
that what is what.
I also want to explain this that benefit management plan is not all. Benefit management plan is one of the management plans, right? We have the
Yeah,
strategic
sure.
management plan within the program. The biggest plan is the program management plan. which comprises of the strategic management
Oh,
plan, the benefit management plan, the communication management plan, the risk management plan, the schedule management plan. So program has got a number of like knowledge areas, which each
yeah.
one of them have to have a management plan, and these management plan are put together to form the program management plan,
Mhm.
just like project management.
Yeah, that I don't.
So here we need to understand the benefit optimization. Why optimization? Because we are talking about efficiencies, we are talking about synergies. So optimization means we are not just trying to be effective, we want to be efficient. Therefore, optimization is needed. So this is probably a topic you need to maybe study more from somewhere. I was just today I was looking at projectmanagement.com, and I listened to some lectures there, and there were very beautiful lectures on benefit management and all that. Uh, Wonderful thing. You see, that will add to your knowledge if somehow you have some time. You must be listening to those discussions which scholars are giving those lectures. They know what they're talking about. So
So which one did you listen to for benefits optimization?
uh, actually, you can search it out. You just tick on the benefits, and it will tell you how many lectures are there. There might be many. So you choose your topic of interest and listen to it. Just 1 hour lecture, and that is good enough for you.
No, that part I know because I'm scheduled for a couple of Lean Six Sigma ones on project.com and things like that.
Okay,
So I just wanted to see which particular one you listen to and you like, because not all of them are equally good. I've been listening to them forever. So it's just
okay,
that I thought you already listened to one which is really good.
okay.
So maybe
I probably can refer to you, but I don't exactly remember
it's
which one
okay.
was that. I had listened to about 4 5. If I just can look at the list, I can tell you.
Sure, no problem.
Right.
Because
So,
even right now, I think I am scheduled for two in the next week. So I just thought, but not all of them are equally good.
hmm, I do understand. All lectures are not that good because sometimes the speakers are not really very mature. But I know that PMI has a very strict policy. Even I have delivered some lectures there, and they interview you, then they get your demonstration, the full presentation, and everything, and ultimately only then, if you are good enough, then they select you.
No, no, I'm not doubting their expertise. It's
Hmm.
just that every demonstrator or lecturer
Hmm.
has a particular style, and
Yeah,
sometimes it just doesn't click with you.
exactly, exactly.
So
You're right.
it's not that they don't know it.
Hmm.
It might just be a matter of that what they are imparting might be way above my wavelength
Hmm.
or my depth of that particular domain, right?
Yeah.
And some professors are known to make it complicated. And yeah, throughout my school, I always knew. I still remember that I read it somewhere. There was a King's College professor. He said the best test of a knowledgeable professor is if he can explain the topic to a 5-year-old.
Right.
So, you have to make it and slice it and dice it in such a
Mm,
simple
exactly.
context that you can impart it to anybody.
Mm, yes. Okay, moving on to the knowledge within this domain. As I said, benefit optimization, benefit value measurement. Again, a very important subject. How do you know that you have achieved that much value out of your benefits? Business value have been achieved. There must be some mechanism, and probably there is a lot of material on value engineering and value management. I know of one book by Michel Thierry. Michel Thierry has also written a book on program management as a very famous book, and that is also one of the recommendations by PMI. So probably I think you can go through both of these very small little books, not very heavy books. One is about program management, and one is about value engineering and value management by Michelle.
Is it available in Pakistan?
They are available on PMI bookstore. I have the value management hard copy, but I don't have the program management book. But I know Michelle Theory is a very good, scholar. Right. Then decision tree analysis probably must not be any problem for you. Maintenance and sustainment of program benefits post delivery. So this is something you probably, if you apply your mind, you can think of how does it apply. That is the sustainment policy. How do you plan to sustain the benefits of the program after it has been delivered? Performance and quality metrics, program transition strategy, how the program is to be transitioned. Uh, you see, each.
Okay.
He may have gone offline to come back. There he is.
I'm sorry, I
Did
think
you get any?
I was disconnected.
Okay.
Right here we were. Yes. I don't know how long you were unable to listen to me. Did I talk about the maintenance and sustainment of program benefits?
Now, I think we were at business value measurement, business value measurement, and decision tree analysis.
Okay, business value measurement. Okay, decision tree analysis probably is not a problem for you. You have already been through with PMP and everything. Then is the maintenance and sustainment of program benefits post delivery. This topic and the last one, the program transition strategies, these two are specific to program management, and that needs you to apply your mind a bit and see and understand how you can maintain and sustain a program benefit post delivery. That is the sustainment plan you are creating. Basically, it is talking about how do you plan to develop that. So, this you can think about. Then what are the different strategies to transition the program? You might have done something like that when how are you going to transition these benefits are to the operations. Probably how maybe the existing system should run in parallel for some time, and people should be trained and things should be done. There could be many strategies. So whatever strategy you devise, and you probably have some experience in that as well, so you can build a story around it. Both of these points are important. First is talking about the sustainment, and the other is talking about transition strategies. Then we have got performance and quality metrics. How do you measure that? So this concludes our benefit management. We are left with two domains now. Stakeholder management, again, a very important domain with us, because stakeholder, we always and every time throughout the life of the program, we are dependent on stakeholders. We have to keep them on board. We have to keep them engaged. We have to understand them. Just like in project, they have got a separate knowledge area for that, the 10th knowledge area. Here also, stakeholder has been given a special place as a separate domain for program management. So the first task here is to identify the stakeholders, including the sponsors, and create the stakeholder matrix in order to document their position relative to the program. Can you tell me what a stakeholder matrix looks like?
Yeah, it's like who's important, like the races basically, who's more impactful, who does what.
Okay.
If we need to engage them, consult with them, or just, you know, inform them. It's the relationship we need to
Okay.
maintain with them. It could be a racy, it could be the impact uh, chart, that do they have any
Mhm.
influence on the program, or are they influenced by the program?
Okay. Okay. You are actually talking about two separate matrices. RASI is something which is used for later communication with the stakeholders. But what you are talking about is a power interest grid. That is a matrix I'm
Yeah,
talking about. Power
yeah.
interest
When
grid.
we do our stakeholder engagement register, basically, we use both of them actually, and we
Okay.
actually use even the governance council matrix on it as well. That how
Hmm.
many votes do they have on vetoing it as well.
Hmm.
So for the branches, so all of that is put in, and then you have a stakeholder register. All three of them go into our stakeholder register.
Okay. Okay. Right. So we have to identify these stakeholders and we have to put them in proper matrices. Naturally, once we are analyzing these stakeholders, we need to have those stakeholders must be properly assessed through their power interest grade or something like that. And later on, they must be assigned to certain the responsibilities, roles and responsibilities through a RASI chart or RAM or whatever. So these are the initial efforts for the stakeholder that is to be identified and put into proper brackets. Prioritization. Actually, I think uh, stakeholders are just like risks. The You deal with stakeholders exactly like this, like you identify the stakeholders, then you qualify the stakeholders, then you do the quantitative analysis. Although there are not so many processes mentioned as such, but actually you are going through all of these processes. So after you have done that, then you properly understand and you have a response to how to deal with each and every stakeholder that is actually developed at that stage. So in task two, you perform stakeholder analysis through historical analysis, personal experiences. Maybe you interview several stakeholders for that purpose, knowledge base, review of the formal agreements, that is maybe the RFPs, RFIs, and whatever type of contracts, and input from other sources is also considered in order to create the stakeholder management plan. So the purpose here is to develop the stakeholder management plan. And the purpose of the task one was to create a list of stakeholders, which we call stakeholder register. So in task one, we were creating the stakeholder register, and in task two, we are creating the stakeholder management plan. The third task is you start interacting with these stakeholders, you negotiate the support of stakeholders, including sponsors for the program, while setting clear expectations and acceptance criteria, for example, KPIs for the program benefit, in order to achieve and maintain their alignment to the program objectives. So, in the third step, what we have done is we started getting in touch with them regarding the program. How can we, you know, uh, gather their expectations, translate them into acceptance criteria, develop KPIs, and use them for the program benefits. This is exactly going to satisfy the program objectives. Task 4 is to generate and maintain visibility. Now we are actually doing the work of the program and we want the stakeholders to be kept abreast through communication naturally. So we are going to make the things visible to them. So generate and maintain visibility for the program and confirm stakeholder support in order to achieve the program's strategic objectives. Task number 5 is to define and maintain communications adopted to different stakeholders, including sponsors, in order to ensure their support for the program. You see, the systems are very systematically going down. We identified, we created the stakeholder management plan, we negotiated and established the KPIs, then we uh, generated and maintained the visibility, and then we communicated. Define and maintain the communication adopted to different stakeholders. Customized communication is going to be there. We are not going to communicate the same thing to all the stakeholders. We will take into account the stakeholder needs and expectations, and only those information which a stakeholder specifically would require, that must only be intimated to them. We do not want to overload them with information, and we do not want to make them angry about anything, because uh, you cannot keep bombarding someone unnecessarily with information which is not really required by them. But at the same time, I would say that there is transparency in the system. We do not intentionally hide anything from the stakeholder until and unless that is kind of a covered under Non-Disclosure Act. Task number 6 is evaluate the risks identified by the stakeholders, including sponsors, and incorporate them in the program risk management plan. So we are also creating the risk management plan of the program, and therefore we will interact with the stakeholders. Normally, the best source of the risk are the stakeholders. They can educate us a lot. And when I say stakeholder doesn't only mean the customer. Even our own team members are also stakeholders. Our own organization, people from our own organization are also the stakeholders. Customers or even other bodies outside of the organization can also be the stakeholders. So we can identify risk from all those possible sources. Task number 7 is to develop and foster relationships with stakeholders, including sponsors, in order to improve communication and enhance their support for the program. In task 5, we said that we should establish communication with them. Now we are trying to gain efficiency by improving the communication. So we are interacting with the stakeholders, and we are finding out that the way we are communicating with them can be further improved and we can benefit more. So we are enhancing their support for the program by improving the communication. So these were the 7 tasks of stakeholder management, and the specific knowledge for this domain could be customer relationship management, customer satisfaction measurement, expectation management, public relations, and training methodologies. Again, each one of these topics is a complete subject in its own self. But you see, you must have a fairly good idea about CRM, customer satisfaction, expectations, how do you manage the expectations. So as we understand that these areas, project management, program management, all of these have a softer side to them. So we need to gain these soft skills also. You are not only going to be a program manager, you are going to be a half qualified psychiatrist also. You would be dealing with so many stakeholders, and you must be a very passionate person, and at the same time you must uh, understand people, must know how to deal with them. This is a very uphill task. Probably you people are very experienced and you have been dealing with all these situations. You know better than me how you have to deal with these people. Okay, so any questions so far till since we are going for the next domain, last domain, governance.
That's fine.
Okay,
I'm okay.
wonderful. So now we are talking about governance. Task number 1 is develop program and project management standards and structure. You remember I did mention the program governance and organizational governance and project governance and all that. Actually, this is the question of good governance. You cannot say that there is no good governance when there is no governance at all. So there has to be some governance, as if we can say whether it is being practiced right or wrong. Good or bad is the secondary question. First question is, do you have a governance mechanism in place? If you do not have a governance mechanism, then how can it be good or bad? So for every organization at the top level executives, when they create their strategy, they also form up a governance framework. And that governance framework outlines the basic major policies by which the organization is to be governed. This generally comes out of the values of the organization. Generally, a good organization will have 4 or 5 values, and your governance structure will be hinged on that. That governance structure is actually translated to all operations and all projects and all programs. So basically, all the subservient uh, uh, departments and programs and projects and all would be abiding by the organizational governance. And every subsequent sub-department would be also following the governance structure of the the next higher level. Exactly in the same pattern. If we are talking about operations, then maybe there is a governance structure for the organization, and every department has set up its own governance structure in light of the overall organizational governance, and then every sub department is abiding by the governance structure of the department which is under which is following the governance structure of the organization, and so on and so forth. But as far as the organizational project management is concerned, it could be overall organizational governance structure. Underneath the smaller umbrella would be portfolio governance framework, and then further smaller umbrella could be the program governance framework, and ultimately the project governance framework. So these frameworks are one after the other. So and every lower level framework is more detailed, right? It is translating the organizational governance at 5 values, and the departmental governance would probably be opening up, breaking open, breaking those 5 values down to further parts, and uh, giving you the policies for that. Similarly, in project, program, and portfolio, we have the general strategy defined within the governance structure. General guidelines are provided, general policies are devised, and those are implementable to that domain. If we are doing the program management, then we must have a governance framework. Governance framework is generic for all the programs in the organization, but every program will translate the governance into program management plan in a customized fashion. And program management plan will be the actual guideline following which the program would be planned in detail and executed. So, having giving you this small little introduction, the first task is to develop the program and project management standards and structure that includes the governance, the tools, finances, and reporting. So, this mechanism is provided through the governance. And naturally, using the industry best practices and organizational standards in order to drive efficiency and consistency among projects and deliver program objectives. So ultimately, our objective is to get the projects effectively and efficiently completed, and ultimately be able to deliver the program objectives. That is, the benefit realization should be possible. Second task is to select a governance model structure, that is what I call the framework, including the policies, procedures, and standards that conforms program practices with the organizational governance structure. That is, the bigger umbrella is organizational governance structure, and I am in program. My program governance should be in alignment with the organizational governance, but it will further enhance and detail the governance for the program. in order to deliver program objectives consistent with organizational governance requirements. I hope this is self-explanatory, and you might now have understood how governance affects a program and how it aligns with the organization. Task number 3 is obtain authorizations and approvals through stage gate reviews by presenting the program status to governance authorities in order to proceed to the next phase of the program. So the stage gate or phase gate reviews is basically facilitated by the governance. Governance requires certain KPIs to measure how much have you done, how well you are performing. So that can only be defined if you have these stage gate reviews. So by presenting the program status to the governance authorities in order to proceed to the next phase of the program. Remember, higher you somebody is in an organization, lesser exposed they are to the ground realities. So a person who is a CEO of the organization probably cannot see deep inside a program or a project. Therefore, he needs KPIs, and those KPIs will be based on these governance instructions. So he would be measuring you if you are fulfilling the governance requirements or not. So all the governance requirements could become the KPIs, and there must be a measurement mechanism. How much are you fulfilling those governance mechanisms? Ultimately, success of the program will be measured through that. Next point is exactly what I was saying. Evaluate key performance indicators, for example, for risks, financials, compliance, quality, safety, stakeholder satisfaction, etc., in order to monitor benefits throughout the program life cycle. So these KPIs have come out of basically the governance. So this provides the higher level management with a way to measure how well a program is going. Develop and or utilize the program management information system, that is the PMIS. We used to call it project management information system. Now it has become the program management information system. This is a workflow system, automated system, which helps you manage all the information about the program as well as its schedule, benefit realization, and everything through some automated tool, and integrate different processes as needed in order to manage program information and communicate status to the stakeholders. So this was the task number 5. Again, you remember, we are always keeping the stakeholder in the loop. We are doing all that, and then we are uh, communicating with the status with the stakeholder. So whatever is the dashboard on PMIS, we will be sharing that to the stakeholders. Naturally, only the relevant details what a stakeholder needs, as we already said. Task number 6. Regularly evaluate new and existing risks that impact strategic objectives in order to present an updated risk management plan to the governance board for approval. So this probably you should be able to understand, as you are very well versed with the risk management from the project management side, and now you just have to raise a level a bit to bring it to the program level, and everything else is same. So regularly you keep identifying the risks and evaluating the existing risks. This is a continuous process which keeps happening throughout the life of the program. And what we are looking at, that impact the strategic objectives in order to present an updated risk management plan to the governance board for approval. Task number 7 is establish escalation policies and procedures in order to ensure risks are handled at the appropriate level. There are two things. Number one is the risk escalation, and number two is the issue escalation. Risk is an uncertain event which has a likelihood of happening, right? I know you must be understanding it already, but when a risk occurs, it is not to be managed any further. Because as soon as a risk occurs, it ceases to be a risk, it ceases to be an uncertainty, and it now becomes an issue. So risk management is only applicable during the life of the risk when risk was unknown and it did not occur. Uncertainty will only be at that point. As soon as the risk occurs, it is 100% certain that it has happened. And all the actions to be taken beyond that point are issue management. So, first I'm talking about the risk escalation. Uh, you have identified a risk in your program, or for that matter, let me say that one of your project managers have identified a risk which he feels that though he has identified it, but that risk is not really applicable to him, that is a higher level risk, and probably it has to be escalated up to the program manager. So the risk was identified by the project manager, but he has escalated it to me, and I have taken over that risk because that applied to the program more than the project. Similarly, if I have a certain risk which is common to my 4 projects or 3 projects, such like risk is to be handled at the program level. So it will not be handled individually by the project managers, but such risks will also be escalated up and taken over by the program manager as if a unified action can be taken on them. Now, this is one escalation path, that if something is not within the domain of the project, will be escalated to the program level, and if it is program level, if it is not within that, this is bigger than program, then this risk might have been transferred to the organization. Right. So that much is for the escalation policies and procedures. But as far as the issues are concerned, issues when they occur, we try to resolve them in our capacity, and if we can't, we escalate it to the next higher level. If that person can resolve it, good enough. Otherwise, he also escalates, and that way the problem, the issue keeps growing, moving up. Ultimately, it reaches its correct destination, and there the decision for that issue can be taken. Task number 8: develop and contribute to an information repository containing program-related lessons learned, processes, and documentation contributions in order to support organizational best practices. So whatever you are doing here is ultimately you are giving something back to the repository. You have already taken some input from this repository while you were doing your program work, but at the same time, whenever you have some new thing, new knowledge, that knowledge has to be updated into the repository, uh, and this repository containing program-related lessons learned, processes, and documentation contributions in order to support organizational best practices. So organization will learn from these lessons learned and ultimately will develop their best practices. Task 9: identify and apply lessons learned in order to support and influence existing and future programs or organizational improvement. So this is very similar to the previous point, but here it is specifically, it talks about identifying and applying those lessons learned in order to support and influence existing and future programs, or even the organizational improvement in shape of best practices. Task 10: monitor the business environment, program functionality, requirements, and benefit realization in order to ensure the program remains aligned with the strategic objectives. That is your ongoing goal. You will keep confirming that your program is still in alignment with the strategic objective. As soon as you find it is not, then you lose the business case, and therefore the need for program may not be anymore, and portfolio may decide to close down your program. So you yourself are responsible to monitor the business environment and program functionality requirements and benefit realization in order to ensure the program remains aligned with the strategic objectives. Otherwise, if not, then you are, updating this information with the portfolio manager, who then may decide to close your project program down. Task number 11, develop and support the program international integration management plan in order to ensure operational alignment with the program strategic objectives. So what is the program integration plan? Program integration management plan is the program management plan which encompasses all other management plans into itself. All that has to be integrated and form one single plan, and this all is to ensure that you are still in alignment with the strategic objectives of the organization. Then we have certain knowledge specific to this domain 5. There are 13. Naturally, we are dealing with archives here. So, what are the different tools and techniques for archiving? What kind of, archiving are you doing? Is it automated digital archiving, or you are maintaining your files on paper? So both ways you will have different tools and techniques. Then business or organization objectives, they are important to know and understand before you can do anything. Closeout plans, procedure, techniques, and policies. Composition and responsibilities of the program management office. Financial closure processes. Go no go decision. This is same as we said phase gate reviews. Here it is. Phase gate reviews, the third last. It's written here too. So this already we have seen this phase gate reviews in the second domain, which was life cycle. So most of the things like 1 and 2 they're written here. So probably Farayal, the number 5 which was written there was referring to the fifth domain.
Okay.
So that was a kind of a typing mistake that they have written in that way. Otherwise, there is no reason.
The
So
one which was in numerics, you're saying?
yeah, yeah. That was supposed to be a V, a Roman 5.
Oh, okay.
So go no go decision criteria established here. Governance models you must understand. Governance processes and procedures you must understand. What are the metric definitions and measurement techniques? Performance analysis and reporting techniques. For example, earned value analysis, etc. Phase gate reviews, program and project change request, and statistical analysis. These are different areas you must have awareness about. So ensure that all the knowledge specific in each domain, you have no doubts about them. You at least know their usage and their definition. So this was the 5 domains, and in addition to that, there are 45 core knowledge which also are part of the syllabus. You may be asked anything from these areas. Maybe when questions are made, they are not made specific to any one core knowledge. That would be relating some core knowledge with a specific knowledge, specific domain, and connecting that domain with that knowledge. So this could be a combined joint type of question. So benefit measurement and analysis techniques you must know. Brainstorming, I think this is very well understood already in project management. What is brainstorming and what different techniques you can use. This is out of the box thinking, creative thinking, and to promote that, we have got many techniques, and there are certain individual brainstorming, or for that matter, individual creativity techniques, and there are some group creativity techniques. Some are natural techniques, and some are spontaneous creativity techniques, and some are prompted. Then we have budget processes and procedures. Naturally, we are dealing with the higher level, so we talk about the budget and finances. We are giving more importance there. Business environment, business ethics, business model structures and organization, change the concept of change management at the organizational level, as well as at the program and project level, which I explained earlier as well. Coaching and mentoring techniques, collaboration tools and techniques, communication tools and techniques, conflict resolution techniques, all these you know and understand. Contingency planning, contract negotiation administration, contract types. I hope you understand what different contract types are there. Cost benefit technique, cost management, cultural diversity, distinctions, data analysis and data mining, decision making techniques, emotional intelligence, very common soft skill, and that is very much promoted these days. Human resource management, impact assessment techniques, industry and market knowledge, information privacy, knowledge management, leadership theories and techniques, management techniques, motivational techniques, negotiation strategies and techniques, organizational strategic plan and vision, performance management techniques like cost, time, performance, whichever performance you want to measure. Then planning theory, techniques and procedures, PMI code of ethics and professional conduct, presentation tools and techniques, how you present your data, problem solving techniques, tools and techniques, project or program management information system, reporting tools and techniques, risk analysis techniques, risk management itself, risk mitigation and opportunity strategies, safety standards and procedures, social responsibility, succession planning, sustainability and environmental issues, and team development and dynamics. So we will discuss each one of these whenever we need to discuss them during the course. But right now I was just exposing you to all the five domains and making you comfortable with all the syllabus. So this concludes
So
the syllabus.
what does it mean? Three or more domains. On the top banner, it says core knowledge, 45 areas, but it's
Mhm.
three or more domains. What does that
This
mean?
may apply to more than three or more domains. Maybe,
Okay.
for example, PMI code of ethics may be applicable to all domains.
Okay.
Presentation tools
Sounds good.
maybe, yep. So, but you must understand and know all of these domains. Then
That's
there are,
okay. They are mostly general because if you've been in project management or even enterprise business analysis, you come
Mhm.
across it's like industry jargon
Exactly,
and
exactly.
you it's okay.
Then we have list of 23 core skills also for program managers. And you might have seen this list before in PMP also. Active listening, analytical thinking, capacity planning, communicating, critical thinking, customer centricity and customer client focus, distilling and synthesizing requirements, employee engagement, executive level presentations, facilitation, innovative thinking, interpersonal interaction and relationship management, interviewing, leveraging opportunities, managing expectations, managing virtual, multicultural, remote, and global teams, maximizing resources, achieving synergies, negotiating, persuading, and influencing, prioritizing, problem solving, stakeholder analysis and management, time management, and vendor management. So these are all general, but
Yeah.
just just for the sake of it, I am just enumerating them. You may know more than half of them, or maybe all of them. But this is your syllabus. This all is your syllabus, and you can be
My
asked
God.
any question from anywhere. Right, Ji? Anything you want to ask about what we have covered so far?
No, I think I stopped asking because I thought this is just a outline. We need to start understanding the topics now. So then we'll
Yes.
ask the question.
Yeah.
Because I kind of tried to slice and dice it till second domain, and then I thought, let it slide. This is just giving me the boundary. But after 2 days, we've
Mm.
just established the boundary.
Exactly. Exactly. But at least you now know what is encapsulated in this boundary, what you need to understand and study. And again, I have been saying it is not only the practice standard for program manager,
Yeah.
the standard for program management. This is much beyond that. A lot many topics which you have seen here are not in the book.
I don't think one book can cover all of this,
No, not at
or
all.
any book can
No,
all
no,
of
it's not
this.
possible. So,
What?
how do you apply for the exam and all? Probably it's not much you know yourself. You have already applied. But in case you have any difficulty in applying for PGMP exam, filling the application, I will be there to help you on that. But you must start filling that application as if you ask questions about it. Um, these are how to make the payment and all. You only make the payment after the review, after the audit. So you will receive an audit definitely, and after you have sent back the document, they will ask you to make the payment. And once you have made the payment, only then your review start. 4 weeks for your panel review, and whenever it is done, then you will be given 1 year to appear in the exam, and then it is your how you select your date. So you can take advantage of these slides, but this is just normal what is given in handbook and what you have already experienced. The only thing is PMI is no more working with prometric testing centers, right? They've now shifted to VU, Virtual University Enterprise. So you will be appearing in the exam with one of the VUE exam centers. Rest all the policies remain the same. Your CCR
Do you
cycle is
have those PUE exam centers in Pakistan?
yeah, of course. There are many. You want to appear in Pakistan?
I don't want to. Just asking. I am planning to be back in Toronto, hopefully July,
Okay.
mid-July, July. That's the plan so far. But you know, I'm still waiting for my mom's landing papers. So the
Okay.
timeline is July, but
Mm.
I can't leave her here. So let's see. I'm just hoping for the best.
I think you already must be having your PDUs gained, and you already are using project management or .com and other sources. So you already know and understand what a talent triangle is,
Yeah.
and how do you gain, mark, PDUs respectively. So it is all given here. If you want to learn more about it, you need to have 60 PDUs, and some of them could be by gaining education, some of them could be by giving it back. And the minimum requirement for you is 8 PDUs in the area of business, technical, 8 PDUs in leadership, 8 PDUs in strategic business management, all the three vertices of the triangle. So 8 in each of these areas is the minimum requirement. I mean, this is the education. You must have some seminars or something attended giving you 8 PDUs in each one of these areas. But total education PDUs you minimum you want to have are 35. And that means you will require another 11 PDUs to complete your 35 PDUs. There is no upper limit. You can have all the 60 PDUs gained through education, and that is the best approach. Otherwise, you can get maximum of 25 PDUs from other activities like giving back to the profession. And in that, uh, at maximum 8 PDUs can be gained for your experience, and remaining PDUs you can gain from volunteering by doing, some work like creating knowledge or training people or doing things like that. But I would recommend very strongly that you just focus on education. That is better, always better, that you learn something new. And by the way, PGMP and PMP are tied together. You do not need to have 60 PDUs separately gained for PGMP and 60 separately for PMP. I just renewed my both certifications, and I just have attained 60 PDUs, and both they counted towards both, and both of the certifications have been renewed. That's it.
Does that work? I'm sure the answer is yes, but any training on PgMP also works for PMP?
No, not really.
No.
Actually, PGMP does not have a requirement for contact hours. PGMP just have an experience requirement. You need to have 4 years of program management experience, 4 years of project management experience. It doesn't say that you have to have some training. But PMP says that you have to have 35 hours, contact hours of training in addition to your experience. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So, Ji,
certifications like Agile or Scrum certification, they count as well?
no, no. Only PMP and PGMP are tied together. There is only one payment,
No,
$60 for both of
for
them.
PDU collection, for your PDU collection.
PDU, yeah, yeah. There are many lectures which give you PDUs for Agile, PMP, PGMP, PFMP. So you will get PDUs for all of them through one lecture.
No, I'm talking about the certification, not the webinars or just the PDUs, but
Well,
the actual certification.
if that certification doesn't give you
It
any PDUs.
comes with the training period, right? So the number of hours you spend in training, whether it's for risk or agile or any of those things,
Yeah,
that
that will count.
qualifies
That
as.
will count. It should be relevant to program management. If
Yeah,
it
so
is
I'm
relevant
saying
to
whether
program
you
management,
sit
it will
for
count.
the exam or you don't sit for the exam and get certified, if
Hmm.
you just go through the training, those
Yeah, yeah.
training hours qualify as PDUs.
PDUs, but it should be relevant. That is the
Yeah,
important thing. If you are talking about basic
exam
level
is
agile,
relevant,
then it
is
is,
relevant.
yeah.
Okay,
Okay, I think we
sounds
should
good.
call it a day then.
Sure. So tomorrow we start with chapter one.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
Thank you very much for your patience and take care. See you tomorrow, same time. Take care. Bye.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Bye.